Well, a recent dip in tourism is shaking up the Strip, and it's the casino dealers who are paying the price.
8 News Now reporter Nick Summers sharing how this downturn is affecting the people behind the table.
If you've been on social media at all recently, you've seen some version of the question, is Las Vegas dead? Here's a few that I found looking online. Nobody comes here. It's too expensive. Resort and parking fees are too high. And my personal favorite, Las Vegas is too expensive and it smells bad. So I reached out to some local experts to ask them.
The lights are still shining, the fountains still put on their show, but if you walk the Strip today, you'll notice instantly that something is off. The crowds. The mammoth crowds that once made Vegas feel alive are disappearing fast, leaving a trail of empty tables and ghost towns in its wake. For decades, this city sold one simple dream, that anyone could be somebody for a night. But in 2025, that dream is cracking. Behind the champagne smiles, casino executives have started speaking openly and almost proudly what everyone was afraid of. These are not just words, but a new way of running business, higher prices, stricter doors, fewer seats for the people who built the Strip. And it leaves a question no neon sign can hide. What happens when the City of Luck decides it no longer needs the people who made it lucky?
And it's great that we have a team of experts tracking the tourism numbers here locally, courtesy our economics department over at UNLV. And one professor in particular doesn't like what he's seen.
Because we have a lot of questions for him right now. For months, we've been really shining a light on tourism here in Las Vegas with how few people, I say few because it's still in the millions, but it is down. We're wondering, is it slowing? Is it?
During a not-so-recent earnings call, Caesars Entertainment's CEO, Tom Reed, made one simple statement that wasn't so simple after all.
Seen numbers, what, billion and a half plus. I know last year was a little shy of that. I'd expect it to be another record.
He said they were kicking out the lowest end. At first, people thought he might have misspoken, but the truth is, he didn't. They had no idea this would soon become the new business model. The following year, MGM's Bill Hornbuckle said the same thing, in calmer words. They weren't chasing budget travelers anymore, they were targeting quality customers. To them, that meant wealthier ones.
If you don't have gamblers, right, you don't need as many dealers, let's say. You don't need as many tables open.
Las Vegas is known for its bright lights, big bets, and nonstop action, but right now things are quieter than usual. A recent dip in tourism is sending shockwaves through the Strip, and casino workers are feeling the hit firsthand.
Fontainebleau announced some layoffs.
But Vegas didn't become an empire by catering to the elite. It was built on cheap buffets, $5.00 blackjack, free drinks, and free parking. It was the only city in America where a truck driver, a teacher, and a tech executive could sit at the same table and feel like equals. That was the magic.
Few that I found looking online. Nobody comes here. It's too expensive. Resort and parking fees are too high. And my personal favorite, Las Vegas is too expensive and it smells bad. So I reached out to some local experts to ask them, is Las Vegas really dying?
To make it worse, they didn't just kick out the lowest end, they kicked out their foundation. And as the Strip now empties out on weekdays and dealers wait for players who never show, the cost of that decision is finally catching up. If you ever walk the Strip when it still felt alive, hit subscribe, because what's happening next will break your heart.
Of wins, $99.7 million in losses. While only being able to take 90% of that effectively puts them out of business. And what we're doing with this legislation, which I believe is simply an unintended consequence, we are forcing these individuals to move offshore.
Stevens calls those levies phantom taxes, since gamblers could end up paying taxes on money they never saw, and he says that some of his high-volume players have already told him if the tax deduction isn't fixed, they'll go elsewhere.
Once upon a time, Vegas sold a fantasy anyone could afford. You could check into a motel for $40, eat a prime rib dinner for $5, and still have enough left to pull a few slots. Today, that fantasy costs triple before you even see the casino floor. Resort fees alone climbed more than 11% this year, averaging over $55 a night. Even so-called budget hotels like Excalibur and Luxor charge $45 in fees plus another $20 to $25 just to park. You are literally paying to lose money.
Republicans for the change, but says both parties need to cooperate to fix it.
I don't think anyone, Democrat or Republican, had any intent on hurting Las Vegas or for that matter, hurting the gaming industry in any sense. It's just that the way this developed, it will really hurt Vegas. It will really hurt. It will really hurt the gaming industry, and that's why this has to get fixed, because no one wants this.
It's not just a joke anymore, it's a deterrent. For a family of 4, what used to be a weekend getaway now adds up to thousands before the fun even starts. The Strip's own math stops making sense. In 1999, a billboard boasted a $4.99 steak dinner. In 2025, that same corner advertises a $30 cocktail.
Aguero of Applied Analysis told me Las Vegas is experiencing a dip in visitation because of concerns over the economy and tariffs. But he says the city has seen much worse.
I got that same question when, when was opening the Mirage in 1989? Could we ever be able to do it? And then you and I remember what it was like during September 11th when Las Vegas was never going to bounce back. What about during the Great Recession when somebody wrote that Las Vegas was the nation's greatest ghost town in waiting, right? And then during the pandemic, we all did it. We all took that walk down the Strip when nobody was there. It was unbelievably scary in terms of how are we going to bounce back? And yet still, here we are today. It's not how many.
And now the city is starting to feel it. Visitor volume fell 11% this June, with 1.5 million fewer tourists in the first half of the year alone. The Strip isn't empty because people forgot about it. It's empty because the house changed the rules and the players walked away. Vegas thought no one would notice. But everyone has. The Strip isn't empty by accident. It's empty by design. The numbers tell one story, but the faces tell another. Bartenders who used to make a living off the buzz of the Strip now go home with half the tips they did before. Dealers shuffle cards for hours without enough players to fill a table. Cab drivers circle the airport longer, waiting for fares that never come. For those who built their lives around Vegas's endless energy, the silence is deafening.
When others admit the Las Vegas of 2025 is more costly than the city of yesteryear, when casinos offered cheap rooms and food to get people to gamble. The Las Vegas of today is built as much on experiences as it is on slots. James Reza, a Las Vegas native, journalist, and businessman, tells me the city has evolved, which can frustrate people with memories of the good old days.
Those places are gone. And there's an entire generation of people who think the Mirage represents old Vegas, and they're broken up because it's gone and going to be turned into the new version of the.
Maria, a waitress at the Flamingo, says weekends still feel alive, but by Tuesday it's like someone flipped the switch. Her shifts are shorter, her tips lighter, and the regulars who used to come every few months have vanished. It feels like we lost the middle, she says. Local diners, t-shirt shops and ticket sellers are fading too. The gift stores that once thrived on foot traffic now close before midnight. The data backs them up. Strip occupancy fell from 80% to 81%, with weekday rooms sitting half empty. Officials call it a temporary correction. Insiders whisper the truth. It's a volume crash.
Announce some layouts. We want those casinos to be very active, successful, and robust because that gives our break-in dealers an opportunity to transition, right? That's the goal.
David Knoll, managing director for SEG Dealer School, started out as a dealer in 1991. He says he's seen a decline in enrollment similar to what the industry saw during the COVID-19 pandemic.
So we've seen our enrollments drop, interest in becoming a dealer. We used to have a lot more people transition from out of state and sort of hear about Vegas, the opportunity that was.
When the workers who served the dream can no longer live inside it, a city starts to eat itself. Vegas isn't just losing tourists, it's losing the people who made the lights shine. If you think Vegas forgot who built it, comment, "Bring the old Strip back." Let's see how many still remember. The numbers tell the story, the billboards won't. Behind the flashing lights and glossy ads, the Strip is quietly bleeding. In May 2025, gaming revenue fell nearly 4%. Slot machines, the backbone of casual gambling, dropped over 5%. Baccarat, once the darling of the high roller crowd, plunged by 10%. But the real red flag isn't in the casino's ledgers, it's in where the money went instead.
Vegas, the unemployment rate remains one of the highest in the country. The leisure and hospitality industry, where most of the jobs are, has seen several peaks and valleys over the last year. Tourism is the lifeblood of Las Vegas, but lately that lifeline has been thinning. From April to May, visitor numbers dropped nearly 6%, and the effects are rippling through the industry.
We're starting to see things like airline bookings and future hotel bookings starting to drop somewhat, both internationally and domestically.
Outside city limits, a quiet rebellion is taking shape. Laughlin, that sleepy river town 2 hours south, reported a 17% boost in gaming revenue. Mesquite climbed nearly 10%. The same low-end gamblers Vegas turned away have become the economic engine for smaller towns that still treat them like guests, not party poopers.
But if anything signifies what Las Vegas is, it's reinvention, and that's what it keeps on doing constantly.
And while the Strip has grown more expensive over time, adding concert venues, shopping malls, and high-end restaurants, there are places that value-conscious customers can still go. Howard Stutz covers the gaming industry for the Nevada Independent. He tells me tourists are getting off the Strip.
Well, guess where they're going? Red Rock Resorts, Boyd Gaming Properties, they all did well in the last quarter. It's a lot of locals because locals don't go to the Strip and aren't going to pay the prices down there. Say the out-of-town visitors from Southern California, they're discovering some of the local property.
And it's not just brick and mortar competitors. Online gambling is exploding too. In July 2025 alone, digital casinos raked in $1,780 million, 0 cents, up more than 20% from the year before. Players are swapping plane tickets for phone screens. They can gamble from home, get better odds, and skip the $55 0 cents resort fee and $25 0 cents parking charge. Vegas thought it could price out the riff-raff. Instead, it pushed them toward an industry that never sleeps, never charges for parking, and never judges a bankroll. The same people who once packed the Strip are now fueling its biggest competition. When the virtual tables are full and the real ones sit empty, what does that say about the city that once called itself the capital of luck?
The dip in tourism is fueling some of the social media skepticism, and said if the blip continues past year's end, there could be more cause for concern. But Riza also told me some of the Vegas hate was just for clicks.
People seeing all these things, and they want to jump into it. They want to be part of the discussion. They want to say, I piled on. Look at the things that are happening in the news where people see something bad happening and they want to pile into it. And I think that's part of what we're hearing about and seeing. I think Las Vegas is going to be fine. It always is.
In fact, both James and Howard told me the answer is pretty easy. Just get off social media, which is probably good advice.
Somewhere in a boardroom, someone thought they'd figured it out. Fewer visitors, higher prices, richer profits. It looked clean on paper. Luxury branding, exclusivity, a velvet rope for the elite. But Vegas was never built for balance sheets. It was built on noise, chaos, and volume. 10,000 wealthy gamblers will never replace the energy or spending power of 100,000 middle-class dreamers. A half-empty $100 0 cents blackjack table doesn't make up for 10 $10 0 cents tables filled with laughter, tips, and repeat business.
Butter. We need gamblers. There's shops and food and everything else to do, but we really need those gamblers to come back, and those gamblers react to better values.
Hotel occupancy rates have also declined, we've been reporting, with a drop of 1% overall in April and a larger decrease specifically for the hotels downtown of 2.6%.
Even the city's crown jewels are feeling the cold. Bellagio, Aria and Wynn have all reported cooling demand from their elite guests. Because here's the thing, the rich don't need Vegas. They can play in Monaco, Macau or Singapore, where exclusivity feels authentic and privacy is part of the package. Vegas tried to reinvent itself as a luxury playground, but forgot it was already something far more powerful, the people's casino. The irony is brutal. In trying to escape the chaos that made it famous, Vegas cut out the very soul that kept it alive. The showgirls, the slot players, the bus tours, the retirees chasing luck, they were never the problem, they were the heartbeat. Now the Strip is learning what every casino should know. You can't outsmart math. When the middle class disappears, even the rich lose the crowd that made them feel rich. The city that once ran on dreams is now running on the opposite, and the house might finally be losing.
Looking into it this morning, she joins us live from the iconic Las Vegas. Welcome to Las Vegas Sign this morning, that popular tourist destination. What are the numbers showing here, Laura?
Well, as The Economist says, it is this growing concern. So he is seeing that decline, but we're going to get further down into those numbers. As you said, Evan, right now we're here right by the iconic Welcome to Las Vegas sign. Tourists from all over making it their mission to come here and grab a picture. But is that number of people dwindling down?
Not everyone's ignoring the warning lights, though. Resorts World took a gamble of its own. It dropped resort fees and brought back free parking. The result? Rooms filled, occupancy climbed, and social media buzz returned. For a moment, it felt like old Vegas again. Convention attendance rose over 10% this May, proving that crowds will come back if the welcome feels real. The Sphere turned into a global landmark, pulling tourists from Tokyo to Berlin. But beneath the glow, weekdays remain ghostly quiet. Cab lines shrink, dealers play solitaire waiting for customers. Locals now call it the two-day city, alive on weekends, asleep by Monday.
Stephen Miller, with an economist with UNLV, expresses growing concerns for the rest of the year and the start of 2026 in tourism. In a study he conducted, the year-to-date decline in visitation was 6.5%. What he's seeing is tourism numbers for international travelers drop. While this popular tourist hotspot is very big for so many people, I spoke with one visitor who was in Las Vegas 25 years ago, last year, and also this year. While he says Las Vegas hasn't lost its spark, he does see a difference. And if he does, so do hotels and casinos, especially with what they're bringing in revenue-wise.
Maybe Vegas is waking up to its mistake. Maybe it finally sees that access was never the problem, arrogance was. If you think the city should bring back $5, 0 cents tables and free drinks, hit that like button. Maybe someone in the boardroom will notice. Vegas used to be the great equalizer. A plumber from Phoenix and a lawyer from LA could sit side by side, same odds, same laughs, same drink in hand. That was the deal. For one night, everyone mattered. Now, what happens when a city built on luck runs out of love? Can Vegas rediscover its soul before it turns into a luxury ghost town? If you've ever felt Vegas isn't the same, share this story. The more people talk, the harder it becomes for CEOs to ignore. Vegas wasn't built by billionaires. It was built by everyone who believed in the dream.